number 4, 5 here is the same, which is use the key concept component framework applicable to development of organization strategy. So how you develop strategy. Number 5, appraise how roles of management leadership drive the development of strategy. The ones in the middle are the important one. Evaluate option and risk by applying appropriate framework. So the first one, big one here, is going to be evaluate the options. Okay. Number 2 you have is going to be risk. Number 3 is going to be about, so that's evaluate risk, evaluate options. Okay, then evaluate recommended strategic team applicable to specific context. So evaluate team. Develop strategy applicable to specific organization context. Okay, the last one is to now, one of the words here is this word called context, meaning every entity is different. Therefore, when you develop strategy, you cannot copy other people's strategy. We do copy other people's strategy. The context must be very similar for it to work. Okay, the context has to be very similar. But then if you copy someone in the market, you are number 2, they are already number 1. So the context is not the same because there's already a number 1 player in the market. So that's one of the ideas here about looking at strategy and seeing context. Okay, that's module 5 key area. Okay, we go to module 5, the next part. You already know this one. Okay, what is it all about? Module 5 is about we can say it's about how or where you want to go. Okay, so in this part you got aligning vision, mission, value. Companies have vision, companies have mission and values, goals and strategies, so they are one single line. So the idea here is making sure that this idea, you got the vision, okay, you have vision on one side, okay, and this vision align with your mission, and then this also align with your values. Okay, and this vision, mission, values, then you can bring it together under one heading called your goals, and then comes your strategy. Notice the way I'm putting it down. I'm not putting it in one straight line. Okay, I'm not putting it in one straight line because vision, mission, then goals. All right, this 3 are linked up together, and then strategies are meant to achieve your goals, and then the values affect your strategies and your goals. Got it? So once you have strategies, then you have something called strategy drivers. Are we okay? So you have something called strategic drivers, which is a different idea. So strategic drivers come in place, and then you have options. Okay, once you have your options, you do have to, then comes one more. So this is the next stage where you are actually selecting strategy. Does that make sense? Once you select strategy, what's the next thing? You want to see whether the strategy, so the keyword here is risk assessment. So there must be a risk assessment on one side, and there must be something called a okay, makes sense. There must be a strategic fit. Okay, then finalizing strategy development. So once you have selected this, after that comes the last step, which is called This is called implementation, really. Okay, you're going to implement really. So we can actually put that as a different color actually. So I'm going to put that as green. Okay, are we okay this part? So that's a sequence of events that you're looking at, the flow of things. So strategic development is where do we want to go and how will we get there? Where, okay, this is the where part of it. That's the where part of it, okay? And this is the does that make sense? How to get there goes to the side. Clear? So strategic option is how to get there. This is where we want to be. Then how to get there is all of this really. Clear? Okay, now moving on. So focus of this module is strategy development, which involve analyzing effective options and choosing which option to pursue. So which option is the best option? Outcome of strategy development process is organization strategy that's ready to implement and the aim to achieve organization goal. Correct? So what are the goals? The module presents the factor to be considered in building strategy to match organization context. These are, remember, factors to be considered in building strategy to match. Those are the factors that will affect your strategy most. So here, okay, so here we already know, driver, options, perform risk assessment, develop, evaluate strategic team, establish key KPM. So establish KPM comes down here. Establish KPM falls down there, got it? So establish key performance measures so that to make sure that you are actually achieving your strategy. So what's the role of the CPA in this whole process? Where do CPA fit in this process? Okay, what's the job of a CPA? So when we say CPA, so how does the CPA contribute for this thing? Okay, the CPA's job. So when we say CPA, their role here changes according to maybe, okay, let's look at the CPA's job. During strategic development, CPA offers interim analysis, reporting and performance against budget and forecast, informing on contingency plan. So when we say contingency plan, this is where contingency plan comes in. This is where performance comes in. So this is where the word performance comes in. I just put that in. There's one word called performance coming there, okay? There's another one come here, which is called the contingency plans sit in the options. Like, you know, if we select this, what's our plans, backup plans, you know, backup plans here. So this is performance, this is your contingency plans. Then you also have, okay, CPA has crucial role playing in developing, implementing meaningful non-financial metrics. So here, the type of measurement, non-financial, is going to be your, this part. What are your KPM? So here we have CSR, okay, you have brand metrics, and you might even have, so you can see the word sustainable corporate governance, brand equity, okay, digital enterprise, so your digital performance. As of now, you need to look at all your Facebooks, your Twitter and all that, and value and project management tracking reporting. So what are all the projects that you have? So you got value tracking, and you also have something called project tracking. So these are the areas where the CPA is getting involved, okay, in terms of what are the areas where established KPM, there is a bit of performance coming in. Specific areas where the CPA gets involved is this area when it comes to strategy. Of course, financial is still there, correct? Financial performance is still there, all right? So this is not an exhaustive list, but each of these functions require ability to assign value to financial, non-financial measure in a meaningful way. So coming up with measures are critical idea. Now, let's look at the top part right now. So we're looking at this part here, the vision, mission, values part, all right? So in this part here, when we look at this one, okay, Strategy development process leads to formulation of strategic options, which are grouped under cohesive, something called themes. You have a thematic, okay, a theme to follow. Like, movie has a theme, horror theme, comedy theme, and so forth. So they have the strategy, they will follow and implement a theme. Strategic initiative are activities that must be performed to implement the desired strategy. Okay, so that's going to be what are things. The word strategic initiative are things that you do to implement it. Are we okay? So in this case, so this part you can see it's already coming closer to this zone here. You identify strategic options, you evaluate the options. So we are here, evaluate the options in terms of risk assessment. Okay, you group the options into strategic themes. So this is where the idea, once you say select the strategy, you got themes. Okay, then from the theme you develop KPM, key performance measures. Okay, and then develop strategic initiative. This is the way to implement the strategy, what to do to implement the strategy. So actions to be done, like maybe acquire a company, dispose a company, get some new staff. Are we clear? Those are all the initiatives that you have to do already. So the process of creating defining strategy initially requires you to develop understanding of what does the organization do, what does it not do. These are important questions, okay? What you do, what you don't do. For you to answer this question, so what you do and what you don't do. These are important because you need to know, like some companies, they do certain things, they don't do certain things. Like if you go to ask a medical group, they don't do research maybe. But you go to a pharmaceutical company, they do research, they don't do medical, hospitals and all that. So what you do, what you don't do is quite important idea before you develop a strategy. That's like you, okay, you are studying accounting, and suddenly I say, what do you do? Okay, you're doing accounting. Then you don't do, let's say, flying, yes or not? But you do driving, so you can do Grab if you want to on a part-time basis, yes or not? So what you do, what you don't do. Clear? So understanding that helps you decide what options you can consider. So you can't just suddenly say, like, I want to become a pilot. It's not an option that is easy to do because it's not what you do. Okay? So companies are the same. They are supposed to clearly understand what they do and what they don't do. Like for example, if you look at Uniraza, this university, they have business. They don't have medicine, so they don't do medicine. Whereas they do business. So anything in business they can move further down the road. But to go into medicine can be done, but it's going to be very, very difficult to do. Does that make sense? Okay. So we move on. Organization mission state the reason for being. Okay, describes how it will achieve mission. Now, please remember, organization mission is an American idea. A lot of time is marketing. It's just for marketing purposes. Mission is a high-level position and helps capture the organization fundamental purpose. Why are you doing it? So alignment occurs in all aspects of the firm, and the strategic work are in the same direction towards an organization goal. So if you align your mission and your goals and all your work to be the same way, then it's a good thing. Now, an organization mission vision should complement each other and align with the values and strategic goals of the organization. So there must be some form of alignment. Now, it's not necessary or easy to get this alignment. So a lot of companies may not actually do the alignment. Let me just check and see. Okay, we talk about alignment. Okay, mission. Talk about mission MACD. Okay. Like for example, if you look at McDonald's, I don't know, they say to be our customers' favorite place and the way to eat and drink. Sounds very vague and not so very clear, yes or no? It's not a very good mission statement, okay or not? So maybe we look at the Malaysian one. What's the one? Well, here's a bit more clearer, I think so. Our mission is to make delicious, feel-good moments easy for everyone. Okay. This sounds very vague because it becomes quite big. Are you clear now? Wide. Okay. Our values is always been commitment, set core values that define our and how we run our business. So what's the values? Okay, these are the values. Does that make sense? So serve, inclusion, integrity, community, family. Okay. Key values, of course, they use a lot of icons there. All right. Okay. So that's values and that's the mission. Okay. So I'm just going to put that in for your information. So we take this one, our mission. Put it there. Now, this broad mission allows you to have a wider scope of what you do. Wider scope. Some are so narrow, so you might end up doing a little bit only. Got it? Clear? And then you have the values that follow this. So, the mission and values, remember, their job is to support all the development of other things. So if you develop a strategy, you should see whether it's, it fulfills this and it's consistent with this. Are you okay? So things that they are saying here, we put our customers, people first, we open our doors to everyone, we do the right thing, we are good neighbors, we get better together. Very generic words, but that's the idea there. Okay? So next part. They're supposed to complement each other. Now, values, the ones that you just saw, are guiding principles that direct the organization journey, help prioritize goal, decision, behavior. So, which decision is important, which one should not be done, which behavior is right, wrong. Are we okay? Those are things that you look at. So, that's one. Shared value are core to strategy and should be driven by leadership team, reinforced by manager, adopted by stakeholders. Now, the word shared value is what everybody in the company believe about themselves or their reason for being. Got it? Why are they there? A good example right now, the shared values in American government is now being broken. The shared value in American government, because you see, historically, government job is a safe job. But government job is a safe job. That means you get a job in the government, you don't actually get sacked and you don't actually get terminated and all that. So you see right now, because America started doing that action, what the whole world is looking at is, hey, if America can do, we also can do. And if that happens, if they start thinking like that, what is going to happen? The values are going to be shattered. Why is the value being shattered? The shattering takes place at the leadership level. Remember, it's something that should be driven by leadership team. The leadership team decides to break the values, gone. Are we clear? Okay, now, these guiding principles should not be compromised and are essential base which organization can achieve its strategic goal. So you must have a base from which you can get your goals achieved, all right? The values. If you change your values, you got a problem. This also enables staff to flourish, providing them common cause. So everybody have the same reason for existence. Values help managers to make trade-off decisions about the organization direction when faced with competing interests. When you have different interests, it's very important to make sure you have the values to get them to see things together. Or not, they will have competing views, competing interests, and they will not be able to reconcile. If they don't reconcile, they won't come to the table to talk. So the values could be the basis for communication. Now, then you have the idea of goals. Okay, what are the goals? People work effectively when focusing on well-defined goals and clear directions for management drives employee motivation. So you must be very focused on what you do. Goals are best expressed to teams in terms of SMART acronym, meaning that they are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, timely. SMART. So remember those words, right? And the leadership team brings the goal, okay, is to develop a goal which are specific outcomes intended to give the mission. So there must be clear outcome like what you want to achieve and why you want to achieve it. As organization people gradually achieve its goal, ultimately results will achieve vision. So goals are smaller breakdowns of the mission, which is a breakdown of the vision. Got it? Now, there are various tools managers leader can adopt to support communication measurement of goal achievement. So number one, you do need to think about how to communicate the goals. Okay, so you have this. This one has to be this word called SMART. Okay, plus this needs to be this has to be what? Communicated to everybody properly. Plus, you also have to think about measurement. So this has to be measured. Okay, just remember, this has to be measured and has to be communicated properly. So if it doesn't get measured and communicated and measured properly, then you're not going to be achieving your goals and people don't know what to do. All right. So that covers this idea of it should be supported by communication and measurement. Now, leadership and management roles in strategic alignment. What is the role of leader and management? So, okay, a good example of leader and management role in alignment. Okay, think about what's happening in America right now. They hired somebody to become not the advisor. The advisor is what? We throw the advisor on the other side. We talk about their health minister. The health minister don't believe in vaccine. Don't believe that germs exist. The health minister doesn't believe it. So what is he going around doing? And he says that everybody, the antidepressant, the medical, the brain, he said those are bad for people. So I just want them to meditate. You understand what he's saying, right? He said, cut all that, give meditation. So is that right or wrong? Very wrong. But that's the problem. Once the person you put in, the leader you put in wrong, they start to take alignment into their direction. So they won't care about the customer or the stakeholders. They only worried about their views. Means we call that ego-driven decisions. All right. Okay. Now, the core skills at task leadership and management strategy development include reflect in previous performance and influence from external environment. So you have to know what happened from your performance. Okay, how your performance is so far, and what the external environment did to your business. Got it? Like for example, a lot of business couldn't avoid COVID. They had to go through that hard patch. Are you clear now? But during the hard patch, some companies decided to use Food Panda and those food companies and all that. Some companies changed to work from home and all that. Okay, so those are things that happen. Now after the pandemic is over, a lot of people stayed on with this work from home function and all that. They saw some benefit. Some companies saw some benefit. Some companies did not see a benefit. Now a lot of companies, a lot of CEOs don't believe that work from home is a good thing. They feel like people are not actually working from home. They're taking it for granted or something like that. Okay, so that's one of the issues that comes from past by reflecting on previous performance. Constructing strong understanding of internal capability and your expertise. Knowing your strengths and your weaknesses is very critical. Okay. Then generating new ideas, directing focus on potential new customer and new market. So this is the idea whereby you are focusing on innovation, idea generation within the company to find market, find customers. They also look at develop innovative, visionary, design-led business. So remember the word design-led, we studied that previously, yes or not, the double diamond and so forth. So design-led business that focus on strategies that meet need of future growth and sustainability. So you're looking at how future success comes in. Building a strong organization culture with strategic focus. The culture for a certain issue, like Toyota built a culture on quality. Got it? Boeing had a culture on excellence. They had a good culture of excellence, which was eroded because of their change in leadership. Their leadership was compromised. The old leaders were all quality engineering. The new leaders who came in were all profit and how to maximize share price. So when you had two different leadership, their direction also changed. Okay, the whole culture, the shared values all changed slowly. So the next one, making evidence-based decision, capture data through business analytics. So a lot of business nowadays, because of the power of computing and AI, you can now get all the data to analyze and make decisions, and you build agility, responsiveness into the business for strong for future. Now the word agility and responsiveness, these are two important words. Agility means able to adjust, able to flex. That means you can cut down your staff size, you can increase your staff size, you can increase your investment, you can decrease your investment. So agility. Number two, responsiveness is basically how fast you can respond to the issues. Got it? If you can respond quickly to the issues, then settle. All right. But if you can't respond, you're going to get hit by all the negative impact. So how fast you can respond? Like right now, if you look at the whole world, they respond very fast to Donald Trump. In the past, they used to respond very slow to Donald Trump because they didn't know how to respond. The response was they thought they were alone. In the past, they thought they were alone. Nowadays, they know they are together. Everybody, the whole world is tying up very fast to resist Donald Trump. So that's why the responsiveness is very fast. Within 1 hour, within 24 hours of whatever he says, there's the response. In the past, they all keep quiet because they're scared. They are the only one responding. Clear? Okay. So, moving on. Strategic driver and considerations that you can have. What are the drivers of consideration? Okay, this is quite an important diagram. Okay, so this one builds on your so if you look at this part, okay, there are strategic driver and factor for success. Okay, driver and factors for success. So when you develop the strategy, you are making the following choices. Okay, following choices. What choice should we make to uniquely position ourselves? Keyword here, position ourselves. Come from an article that was produced long time ago. There's a book called Positioning. Okay, there was a book called Positioning. Talks about how people position themselves in the brain. What space they occupy in your brain. So inside your brain, people have positioned themselves. Like when I say fried chicken, the position is occupied by who comes first when I say fried chicken? KFC, right? You see, KFC is already occupying the position. After that, you might make some judgment to go against that positioning, okay? But it's already occupying. So if I say bread, white bread, your brain already is occupied by gardenia, correct? So if you go to the shop, the first thing you might want to choose is gardenia. That's the meaning of what choices should we make to uniquely position ourselves. How do we position ourselves? So when it comes to bread, really gardenia is still the market leader. They flooded the market with products, correct? Even if you want to buy bun also now, you know, like vanilla bun, you might actually consider gardenia already, right? Okay, you might not go to a bakery to look for it, but you might actually buy the gardenia vanilla bun. So that's an example of how they have successfully managed to position themselves inside your head. Clear? Kaya also now they come in already, right? Now they are trying to break into the mee market. They're trying to go against Maggi Mee, correct? And they are using one of their strengths, channel. You see where they are in the front. Where right in the front is where the bread is always kept in front, correct? Because the bread is kept in front and not at the back, they can also place their mee also in the front, correct? The mee noodles and all that. Which means if you're going to buy a mee, and somehow they are penetrating at a lower price, correct? Compared to Maggi, Maggi is at a higher price, and Maggi is sitting at the back, and these fellows are sitting in the front. So here's where they are taking advantage of the channel. So they may be able to break into the market. Got it? Plus, you know how they started the mee first, right? They didn't start with instant noodle first. They started with yellow mee first, right? They started the yellow mee. They became quite popular because that was one of the mee that no one was actually branding. Did you know no one was actually branding? I mean, you talk about yellow mee, you didn't have a brand in your head. Suddenly, Numi came in and occupied that space, positioning. Does that make sense? From there, from that spot, they attacked the instant noodle. Does that make sense? So they were very calculated. They made the move in a very calculated way. They didn't come in straight into instant noodle because that'll be hard. They established themselves in one mee first, the yellow mee, where nobody was there, got some kind of dominance. From there, launched to instant noodle, stronger base. Okay, so what choices we should make to uniquely position ourselves? What differentiate us from the competitor? What are we different? What can you be different? Okay, then new market and products or services. So from here you come up with new products. Okay, provide customer value. Look at the channels. Okay, these are your strategic driver factor for success. From here you can break down into the three levers. Here are like, you know, gear that you have to put to run your engine. The engine is your strategy. Got it? So you already say this is my strategy. We're going to enter this market. Okay, then you have to look at your operational level, organizational people levels, and product and service levels. Now, operational level, what core activity must we do well? So here you have certain activities you have to do well, which includes the team. You might say, I want to improve. So what are the categories within the organization? We can group the options. So maybe you can group into, let's increase revenue, let's reduce costs. Got it? These are very common ones. What do you think Donald Trump is doing and what Elon Musk is doing? He's just doing an operational level. What? Let's reduce the cost. Let's cut the fat out. Are you clear now? Simple cost reduction strategy, correct? Okay. Efficiency, effectiveness, okay, making people more efficient, more effective. How? Maybe use technology, automate, okay. Flexibility, agility, can adjust faster. Then finally you look at growth, how to grow your business. That's the operational level. Then you got the organization people level, what categories within which we can group our options. So here, maybe you have a workforce structure, change your workforce, are you clear? Cut down the workforce. Maybe look at what skill you have to build and what capability, expertise you need. Okay? We can say when Donald Trump was cutting, not Donald Trump, Elon Musk cut costs in America, although he is operational level is correct, because he go cut the wrong people. Remember, he went and sacked the people who run the nuclear lab, people who are doing the bird flu research, like he cut all of those. Then you are losing the capability and expertise that was already built in the country. The country now is losing their skills and competence, and that's a bigger issue. Of course, Elon Musk might think that, oh, it's all, I can get it at AI, I have this AI, I have everything in the internet, what for? I need people. That's the normal thinking of bosses. Okay, I have AI, I have internet, why do I need a worker to do this, correct? But they don't know that the worker has other things that they are doing to make everything fit. Okay, then you got strategic teams. What are categories that we can group the options? Here is like, maybe you go to new market, new product, building values and benefits for the customer. Improve the value to the customer, improve the benefit to the customer. Okay? Now, then only you come to your actions. Strategic initiative are the actions for implementation. Follow? So this is the flow that you are supposed to take for building your strategy. So let's have a look at this part. Strategic driver. The purpose of examining driver is to determine where are we going and by when and with what. Okay. So questions an organization can ask to identify the drivers that differentiate it from competitors include, okay, these are your questions that you can ask. To position yourself uniquely, you can ask this question. So this is sitting here, got it? How to position yourself. So here, when we ask the question we are asking is, which industry do you want to be in? which market you want to be in, which product, which customer, which channel. Got it? So hence the word channel, customer, product, service. Got it? Which market, which industry you're in. So expand into fast moving industry or expand into emerging high risk industry. You have the choice. You choose between these two. Do you want to go into a fast moving growing industry or something new? So when you go to something new, okay, emerging high risk industry. You go in, you can lose all your money, you can make all your money. Okay. If you look at crypto, some of the cryptos from 30 cents went to $100, $200. So high risk, like you wanted to put 30 cents and take a risk or not, got it? Or you could have put in fixed deposit, whichever is safer. So it's the industry that you're going in, all right? So new market, focus more attention on certain market. Do you want to focus on specific markets? I would say, example, Gardenia, focus on certain markets. Okay, they are not everywhere. Okay, they are very close in the bread ecosystem. And from bread, they realize their core competence is actually not bread. It's manipulating dough. Does that make sense? Taking flour, mixing flour, and products that basically focus on the ability to mix flour. Got it? So what are the products that mix flour and make a product? So from there you look at it, oh, breads are one. On the other side you have the mee and all that. Does that make sense? So that's why they probably went in that market. Okay, so pursue new geographic market with the same product. So you can either maintain current product and develop new related services to support those products. So you add on your current products, or you eliminate unprofitable product services not aligned with vision. So you may want to cut off the products that don't make money. Okay. Now, customers, pursue new customers, market with the same product or service. Okay. So you look at the same product service, you go for the new customers, or target full price customers, moving away from discount customers. So you might want to go for customers that pay a premium. Okay, you don't want to go after this discount customers. You may want to go after the same customers to the product service. Finally, you look at your channels and operation. Target customer spending by building an online retail presence. Maybe you can sell online. Target 24-hour service by building omnipresence. The word omnipresent is you are everywhere and you are 24 hours. Got it? Social media to attract new customers. This requires you to invest in social media marketing. Create a new customer acquisition strategy using referral and incentive. Got it? So there must be some referral incentive. Develop traditional channel using exemplary customer experience and unique experiences. So you might have to think about what experience you are giving also. Does that make sense? Okay. So remember, develop traditional channels using exemplary customer experience, meaning you have this feedback and all that saying the customer is satisfied and all that. Or you try to create a unique experience, meaning the way it is bought gives the customer a different feeling. Okay, so that's this part about strategic drivers. Next one, you're going to operational drivers. Here, when we say operational driver, the direction implementation option will always have some effect on the driver for revenue, cost, and growth. So whatever you do affects your revenue, cost, and growth. A good example is you see whatever they are doing in America, right? Okay, the cost is very high. Why is the cost very high? Sacking people is never cheap. You simply sack people, the company simply sack people. They have to pay compensation. There is no such thing as I sack you and you just get out, you know. That doesn't happen in reality. So what happens is most of them, it takes time. It takes time. People will get sacked, they get shocked, then they'll go and see a lawyer. The lawyer will say, you got a case, then put a case, and then you win the case, and you make money from the government. Got it? So that's what we mean by there is going to be a cost for every strategy you choose. So whatever the strategy you take, okay, you want to become more efficient, okay, you cut down your costs, fine, but there will be other costs that comes along. An organization need to consider effect of different strategic options. That is, how will activities undertake to pursue one option affect other options and organization more broadly. Very simple. If you do one option, other options get affected. You decide to work harder over time, your studies will be compromised. If you decide to relax and enjoy more TV and watch all the serials, your studies is also affected. Either way, one option causes the other options to be having a problem. Got it? So remember, you have to consider the effect of different options. That is, how will activities undertake to pursue one option affect other options more broadly? So what will happen overall? Okay? This will determine overall best outcome. So you cannot make decisions just by looking at what one outcome delivers. You also have to see the interrelationship of your outcome versus other outcomes you are pursuing. Now, the next one is organization and people. Now, workforce structure, building skill, business capability, and expertise are key organizational people driver. So when you want to build your strategy, you definitely need your structure for your work. Meaning a workforce structure is centralized, decentralized, functional structure, divisional structure, got it? Building skills, what are the skills you need and capabilities? Then a successful implementation of option often require different organization structures. So you may have to change your setup. Taller, flatter, more departments coming in, all right? Now, your structure may be team, matrix, or hierarchical, top-down, all right? And staff may require training to develop new skills. You can't just assume people will get the skills and be able to do things. Okay, now, moving on. You have product, service, market level. Okay. When you say product, market, service level, you do need to understand something called key success factor or critical success factor. The British call it critical success factor. The Australians don't like to call it critical success factor. They call it key success factor. Got it? Right. So, a key success factor for a new product or service, or key success factor for a new market. So if you want to become successful in making a new product, you must understand what user want, ability to successfully market and launch a product. You must have efficient development of the product. You must have effective use of outside technology and external communication, and seniority and authority responsible managers to implement it. Now this is quite important, comes out quite a lot in the exams. Got it? Mark. Now, key success factor for new market is, the market identifiable benefit of expanding into market in line with long-term goals. So there is a benefit why you enter the market. Got it? Next, the organization must ensure that it has sufficient cash reserve to finance the new organization. Got it? You can't just assume that you can enter a new market without money. The organization must ensure that it has sufficient expertise to execute their new position and strategy. So you must have the people to do it. You don't have the right skilled people to implement, you have a problem. A good example, this company called The Star, they decided to enter into the streaming market, TV streaming market. When they decided to enter the TV streaming market, they are a media company, they are a newspaper company. A newspaper company, do they have expertise to enter media, the streaming market? No. They are very far away. You see, from Gardenia entering into the instant noodle market, and I tell you why they could enter. They had competence, correct? Now, Star is a newspaper. They report news in media, the traditional media. Okay, they already moved to another media called internet, and they had some online media. Got it? Online newspaper lah. That's as far as they went. They never created an online portal for media news. They didn't create content. They were still far away from content creation and content platform. This is what I said, content platform. So they were far away, but they straight jumped into competitor of Netflix. They created their own one called Dim Sum. They created their own business called Dim Sum. That. Star dim sum service to cease. Can see not? Follow? 2016. In 2016, Star Media launches dim sum, online streaming platform. Biggest mistake in their life. Took 100 million, 200 million, 300 million, took up a lot of their profits. They were losing money non-stop.
The name is wrong.
No, because their target market is Chinese market. You can't target Chinese market in Malaysia and be successful. Why? Largest population in Malaysia is Malay market. If you don't cater for the Malay market, you are in trouble. So if they had labeled it as Dodol, I would have accepted. So they went and called it dim sum. So they alienate their the core segment in Malaysia. Does that make sense? Even though whatever, so you automatically said that you are targeting the Chinese market. Biggest mistake they made. Okay, like I said, never do analysis of customer, never figure out. So at the time when they did it, so we got like, oh no, such a sad. So look at this. It's first, they call it first homegrown over the top content offering exclusive Asian content. Okay, so OTT refers to film, television content, high speed. So that's Netflix lah, correct? Netflix, right? Okay. MD, executive dim sum will offer Asian content on subscription VOD, video on demand service. They will have to remember this word. Look at that word. They didn't have the resources. Unlike Astro got resources. Okay. Content will be there. Notice this part. The content is mainly what? Drama, serial, maybe documentaries, Japanese anime, children's animation series. Notice the other word, Japanese anime. Very narrow, right? You know why? It's what the person who became the CEO of dim sum liked. It's not what customer like. It's what I think customer like what I like. Understand that logic? So they only pay $15 a month, up to 5 users. So very cheap lah. They went cheap. Does that make sense? Okay. Launching ceremony. Okay. They said like this. My ministry ready to play a part. Okay, all this reorganizing, recognizing important strong 1 billion has been allocated. Okay, fine. So after that, so you saw when they launched, right? Say when they close. How many years? How many years they took to close? There you see the channel. You know what's wrong with the channel already, right? What's wrong? Target market. Target market. You see this one? Is it what? 2016, since launch 2016, it expanded to Brunei, Malaysia. They went new market. Okay. Library content include drama. Okay, China, Japan, Taiwan, Hong Kong, South Korea, Thailand, Indonesia. I don't know how much is Malaysian content because Malaysian content they have to buy from Malaysia. What happened then after that? You see, new chairman take over, new CEO. So leadership change took so long. The old leader just stick with it. You know why? He cannot pull back on a decision he already implemented. Malu. Understand the malu, right? I dah buat, tak boleh reverse. So he didn't until he resigned. The new leader is the one who come in and chop. Right, you see, they made a loss of so much. Printing segment, impairment of asset. Okay, digital, notice this part. In particular, print digital segment recorded loss of 20 point. So it's the dim sum made all the losses. Due to softness of the, however, group couple. Now pay attention. They opened 2016. COVID time is supposed to be very strong, right? Guess what became strong? Netflix, Prime, all of them became strong, correct? So basically that's what happened lah. So clear on the idea that, you know, when you launch a product, there are key success factors. You must have people and sufficient expertise to do it. Betul, you should be able to perform both internal and external analysis. I think they didn't do a proper external analysis. They assume, very simple, they just assume certain market can pay, certain market cannot pay. Therefore, we go after the market that can pay. That's what their assumption was. Got it? Very faulty thinking. Got it? Then the development of choice and strategic options should consider this market element key success factors. So you look at what are the key success factors. The development and choice of strategic options should reflect assess risk factors also. What are the risks involved? So when we develop a strategic choice, you have to say like, what's the risk? So if you enter OTT, what's the risk? You have Netflix, you have Prime, you have Disney, you have Hulu, you have HBO. All these people can enter Malaysia, correct? You know the one that has successfully entered Malaysia, ZTV. You heard of ZTV? ZTV is the one from India, Hindi and Tamil. They have successfully entered. You know what was their pricing? I think they charge 150 ringgit for 1 year. Like 1 year, very cheap lah. Because for them 150 ringgit is a lot. Because they are pricing from India. Theirs is rupee. Their customers pay very low.
The company from
India.
India?
The group is called ZTV. See? This one easier to break into Malaysian Malay market than Chinese drama. Why? Hindi. Half the Malay population already understand Hindi already. So in that sense, the Bollywood hits can break through, and because their pricing is reasonably cheap, easy for them to cut through into the market. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's an example of, but this is not their main market. For them, Malaysia is not the main market; it's just a supporting market for them. Because why? India big enough. They really don't need to go out of India to make money. 1.2 billion population cannot be satisfied. Are you clear or not? So that one is a big market. So they will make enough money there. Malaysia is just more like a by chance. Does that make sense? Okay. We move on to the last one. Okay, you have this diagram. So this diagram quite important. You have to understand the flow of the strategy process. Number one, you have your strategy, which is going to be your goal, your priorities, and your gaps. What are your strategic gaps? From there, you come up with your strategic development. Okay. From there, your people, organization, driver levels. Then you have your operational drivers. Those are your levels, correct? Okay. People, organization, driver levels, your operation levels. Then you have one more. Okay. Remember, so you have product and service levels. That's another one that comes up here. Then you got your strategic implementation, and then you monitor and adapt accordingly. Now, to support this, you do have certain things like scenarios. Strategy scenarios are what if? What if somebody do this? What if somebody do that? So those are called scenarios. Alright? Now, the next one you have is called budget, sales, operational plans. So when you say budget, sales, and operational plans, what are your budgets, what are your sales plans, your operational plans to achieve the strategy, and when it comes to individual scorecards, what are the skills you need to have and so forth for your staff. Got it? So that's basically this idea of strategy process. Okay, that covers the whole process of strategy. Okay, the driver and consider. So when you want to come up with your strategy, you need to know what to consider. What do you consider? People, organization, product, operational. Are you clear now? You consider these three things properly first before you implement. The next one is called fit. Okay, whether or not the strategy you come up with fit with the SWOT. Okay, is it a good match or not? If it doesn't really match with your SWOT, then you are taking a big risk. You're jumping outside your comfort area. So let's look at the first part. After strategy options are determined, the next task is to evaluate option relative to current industry to determine whether they fit. Does it fit? Okay. While many strategic options might be commercially viable, they may also have must also have a compelling strategic rationale. So again, like Star opening dim sum. and Gardenia opening the Numi. The two of them. One successful, the other one utter failure. Now, there are a lot of other products. Apple launching Vision Pro. Failure. Got it? So that's an example of what is the commercial viability, and they must have a compelling strategic rationale. What is the logic that they can have? Got it? Okay. There are several approaches for evaluating which options are the most appropriate and will result in organization fulfilling its vision and mission. Notice the word several approaches to evaluate, different ways to consider whether this is right or good strategy or a bad strategy. So the following are good techniques. Number one, you got value effort assessment tool, value/effort. Now when we say value/effort assessment tool, what are we saying? We're talking about the idea of, so several approaches to evaluating options that are appropriate. You got value effort is this diagram. Value effort, how much value you get, how much effort you must put in. Value, how much you generate from the whole thing, how much work you put in. Now you can put in a lot of work, you can put little bit work. You can put in a lot of work, you can put little bit work. You can get a lot of value or you can get little bit value. Got it? So like CPA falls here lah, blood, sweat, tear. Lot of effort, lot of value. Got it? Follow? Okay, that's over there. Blood, sweat, tear, which means what? High value, high effort require time, resource, but great potential. This option must be seriously considered. You must consider lah. Now, low hanging fruit, high value, low effort option should be pursued. High value, low effort. So when we look at Gardenia entering the yellow me market and branding itself, it's a low hanging fruit, right? Because was there any main competitor? No. There were many people, but no branded name was established there, correct? So because there was no branded name, they actually went into a market and maximized it, They managed to tangkap the market because they identified the market where no one has a clear brand recognition. Okay, so low hanging fruit. Next, somehow they did their branding quite well, right? The green color, the logo and all that. Okay, now blood, sweat, tears is high value. Then you got low hanging fruit, you already know. Delegate or dump is basically low value, low effort. Okay, you can delegate the task to lower levels of the organization, or ask your contractor to do or something like that. Got it? Okay. The last one, dead duck. These are the most dangerous one. This is low value but high effort. That's like dim sum lah. Low value but lot of effort you have to put in. It's a dead duck. You shouldn't have done it. Are you clear? How much work you're going to do? How much money you're going to make from this thing? Okay. I bet with you, somebody get forecast 1 million customer, 2 million customer, pay $15, we can make so much. They didn't actually think they can get 1 million, 2 million, but they just put the number in, and when they do the presentation, the board of directors like, boleh, can get. So when you cannot get, you must be like that company I talked about. What's that company we talked about last class? Dialog, right? Dialog deciding that their market is not good, they quickly pull out from it. They know it's a dead duck. If they know it's a dead duck, that means this system is working well. The system here is catching the monitoring and adaptation stages very well. They know they made a mistake, they quickly pull out of the mistake. If they know they made a mistake and pull out, that means their strategy is actually quite strong. They can catch a mistake and make correction. A lot of companies are like Star. They catch a mistake, they keep on going. They repeat the mistake until it eat up all their profit. Okay? Same thing like Tesco went into US market, they made a mistake, but they keep on going until they lose 2 billion. Okay. Now, we okay on the value effort assessment? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. The other one that you have is something like this: weighted criteria evaluation. Now, the weighted criteria evaluation is you come up with what is important criteria. Like your evaluation criteria could be the size, the growth, the profitability, ROI. You put all of this as criteria that is for you to consider. Like if I want to enter a business, these are things that are important for me. then I give the maximum point. So the higher the point, the more important. Like for me, profit very important. I give 20 lah. Clear? Then size, growth potential, I put some 10, 10. Then IRR, I put 10. The rest all I put 5. And then risk, I put 10. I put scores like this. I can put one called no go go also. NG, and no go or go. That means if that one fail, no go. Doesn't matter what also good, no go. That's the no go go status. Like for example, a lot of companies, like let's say if you are in the Muslim market and you go and enter into a market which is non-halal, your company profile is Sharia, and then you enter into that should be a no go, even though high profit. Does that make sense? So that's go no go. Are we okay? No go no go. Can So that criteria will stop you from taking the whole thing. The rest is maybe you rate it. High, low, 1 to 5. 1 low profit, 5 very high profit. Got it? So then you can say like size, 1 small, option 2 2, option 3 maybe 4. Got it? Then maybe growth, you score 1 to 5, 1 to 5. Got it? After you score, you can multiply and get a weighted average. Weighted average. You multiply, divide by 100. Understand what I mean by multiply and divide by 100? So everything multiply, whatever score you get, divide by 100, you will get the weighted average. Once you get the weighted average, remember the weighted average, you will then be able to say which one is the best one. Okay, are we clear on the weighted criteria evaluation? Okay, the last one you might use is something called using business analytics. So when you use business analytics, supported by IT, can be used to evaluate strategic option, inform strategic development through its focus on discovering, communicating patterns in decision, data. So here you might say which option based on your data. I would say Donald Trump, when he was running for election, he used a lot of business analytics and choose the words. He used the word grocery, grocery. He doesn't care about the word grocery. It's the data analytics is the one that highlight to him that word. That people are stressed with that word. People are looking at that word. So once he know that people are looking at the word, and he know he must talk that word to make people excited. Because it is what they are thinking about. That's like you know what people's mind are, and then you talk what is in their mind. People will feel attracted to you. Does that make sense? This is where data analytics comes in. So if a company know what's in your mind and start making a product that fits your mind, high chance you'll be successful. Like right now, if you go to Apple, although their Vision Pro failed, their most successful product is the M4, Mac Mini M4. It's outselling everything. Everybody is just buying it up because they say it's so good, so good. All the reviewers saying so good, so good, so good. So massive sales going on there. Does that make sense? So they still make money on another product. Clear? Okay. Data is collected from a range of external, internal sources, including your business transaction, your employee survey, competitor, industry, macroeconomic stats, financial performance. So you can collect data from every source. You may need to buy data. See, Donald Trump was supported by Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, and Jeff Bezos. All these people own a lot of social media. If you have a lot of social media, you know what customers think and what customers want. You can extract, and you know what word will trigger them. Does that make sense? Okay. So those who own social media right now can control the market. That's the end outcome lah. So if you own TikTok or you manage TikTok, you have the resources of TikTok. TikTok is so powerful that it can. That's why they want to block TikTok also, because they know it's powerful. It can influence the decision. Last election in Malaysia also same. TikTok was a very powerful influence in the decision of the voters. Voters were not watching news to get the news; they were watching TikTok to get the news. Make sense? Okay. So IT infrastructure provides storage, retrieval function, as well as ability to analyze data. You can pick up the data. Pattern in data are identified through statistical modeling and algorithm. These models also incorporate probability analysis to evaluate likelihood of outcome event taking place. So you know which one is better, and therefore you choose the correct strategy. Clear? Once you choose the correct strategy, you can implement it and kind of win the outcomes. Okay, now we move on to the next one. We're coming to this idea called risk assessment. So when you want to assess risk, so every strategy got risk. Every strategy got a kind of risk that comes up with it. Okay, so in terms of risk, is the threat that an event, choice, associated action will affect the organization's ability to achieve the goal or outcome. Okay, so you do have to think about that. So a risk is basically your goal or outcome is going to be prevented. Risk assessment is basically a process whereby you are going through the likelihood and impact. You're making an assessment of likelihood and impact. So risk inherent in strategy. So when you develop strategy, there are certain risks that comes along, and therefore you have this risk assessment approach. So if you look at it, you identify the risk issues in terms of financial risk, strategic risk, operational risk, or management effort. Management may not put in the right effort. Determine the possible cause, where the risk arise, where the risk comes from. Okay, determine the possible consequences of the risk. Consequences is in terms of impact. Where is it going to be impacting? Then you determine current likelihood of the risk. What is the chance of the current risk? Okay, and then you determine risk rating. So likelihood is the probability, consequences is the dollar value. Got it? Now, when we do this likelihood and impact, we can then come to this diagram over here in your textbook. Let me just get to the textbook first. Right, you will have this diagram for your risk assessment. Okay, in terms of types of risk, okay, let's have a look at the types of risk. So in terms of strategic risk, you have the following. So these are the type of strategic risks you can have, like project maybe fail new business development project. Okay, extreme is potential extreme risk that research may be completely wasted, possibly limiting. So the whole research wasted. Fail new business development project. Okay, now example of fail new extreme risk is when Dyson went into EV market, spent 800 million, closed the project. They said not worth it. Okay, that's example of R&D project extreme. Okay, then priority shift. Priority shift means a lot of customers change completely their pattern of buying. Okay, if they change their pattern of buying completely, this happened, for example, in America. Even the people who vote Democrat went and voted for Trump. That was like a massive shift, all because he used the right word. No, it's not about Kamala not being good. Kamala is just like, we're doing this, we're doing that. She's just telling what they're doing. But she didn't use the right word. She never talked about the right words. Whereas Donald Trump is backed up by the social media kings. The social media kings know exactly how much R&D they can put into to find out what trigger the people. All Kamala had to do is just follow Donald Trump's words. But she wanted to be different. Notice the strategy. I want to be different. I'll talk about different things. He wants to be different. He talks about different things. But who used more database-based decision making? That's the one that won. So that's where a priority shift came about. The Democrats lost a lot of their seats. Increasing customer power that demand lower prices could be less extreme. Then you got transition risk. Business design shift. Maybe the technology change. You have to change your way you do business already. You cannot do the business the same way. Example, Food Panda. Business design shift. You have to change the way you do business because the technology that came in. Alright. Then you got competitor. You might have a unique competitor. Rare, immutable value proposition offered by somebody new comes in and breaks up the market, or you got a gradual share gainer, meaning competitors slowly eat your market. Your brand collapse. Brand collapse means your reputation or key component disintegrate. Good example of brand collapse now happening to Tesla. The brand is collapsing. Why is it collapsing? Because of Elon Musk and the American actions. The whole world target Tesla. They said, since Elon Musk is the best friend, we target him. Does that make sense? Okay. So that's brand collapse. Gradual loss of relevance is the brand slowly go out of date, like Kenny Rogers. See, Kenny Rogers is not really relevant nowadays because he used to be a country singer back in the 1980s. Okay. No profit zone. Possibly less extreme, but an industry may be unable to make any profit. You might enter an industry where it's very competitive, very hard to make money. A lot of costs. Okay. Example right now, mall. You open a mall, not easy to make money. You go to most of the malls now at lunchtime and all that, you might not see enough people. Does that make sense? When you don't see enough people, you got a problem. Like Intermark can survive. Why? Because they have a lot of resident corporates. So Intermark Mall can survive because people come down to eat. Anyway, the mall doesn't have a lot of space left. Alright? Okay. They also have a hotel there, which helps. Clear? But some malls you go, they are dying already. They are already on the way out already. They are like not relevant already. Okay? Then you have so no profit zone. Supplier power increasing, leading to higher prices. Stagnation, volume permanently flat, declining, or it becomes a decline market area, or short-term recession only. So you need to understand where you are in strategic risk. Which strategic risks are important for you? Got it? Then you have to think about what is the possible consequences of the whole thing. Now, when you say consequences, notice the way we look at it is okay. Consequences is this one. So if we look at these two together, okay, you got this word here: insignificant, minor, moderate, major, catastrophic. Correct? You will be getting questions that ask you on this part. You will be getting questions that ask you on this one, like what's the category of this one. So they give you an example. Like if it's a donor, if it's a community supporter, it's a personal and resourcing, it's a negative impact on the image or reputation, you got shortfall of funds and all that, where do you put it? Are you clear now? So if like you lose 50% of your money, it's catastrophic lah. You lose 20% to 50% might be major, it's this one moderate, this one minor, this one insignificant. Got it? If you have like big bad news, what type of severe impact on reputation and key stakeholder support, that's called catastrophic. Minor, local press. So like for example, KK Mart, they had the socks Allah case, right? Where is it? Where do you put it?
Major.
It's major, but it's not catastrophic. They're still surviving, correct? So they're still surviving, but it's major. Are you clear now? Repeated national news attention, right? That's so you may have to evaluate where it falls. So let's say a plane crash for Air Asia. Major also, it's not catastrophic because they actually had a plane crash. Got it? So loss of one supporter, loss of two supporter, loss of significant supporter group. Starbucks and the case of the boycott. Catastrophic means the company would have lost all their customers. Not major, moderate. Loss of significant supporter group.
But I think the shortfall of fund is important.
No. No, it wasn't a huge shortfall. Some outlet, yes lah, catastrophic. I would say Kelantan outlet catastrophic lah. Kelantan and maybe in Terengganu maybe catastrophic lah, I think so. But KL all that is moderate. Understand no? Overall you might put it as moderate. Depends lah whether you are a single franchise owner, you own the shop for Kelantan, then you are in trouble lah. Okay, then your company is catastrophic already, correct? Make sense? Yeah. So that's how you have to look at it. It's not very clear cut. Okay, it's not very clear cut. You have to like evaluate it. Donors. Okay, that's more for charities. You know, if you have running a charity, you have to see which your donors and all that, whether they are affected. Are you clear? Okay. Now let's move on. The next one you have is the type of risk classification. The type of risk classification that you can get is this one. So you have inherent risk, remember? Insignificant, minor, moderate, major, that's the top one, like consequences. Then you have almost certain, likely, possible, unlikely, rare. So, plane crash for Air Asia. No, we already know the top. Now I'm talking about the likelihood. Unlikely. Answer would be the event could occur at some time, but at exceptional circumstances. So you need to pick up the 5 categories. Which is this one. Make sure you know the classification here. Okay. This is based on anticipated frequency, environment. You do have skills, staff commitment, morale, history, previous events. All of this will be analyzed. Almost certain, expected to occur in most circumstances. Likely, will probably occur in most circumstances. Possible, event might occur at some point. Event could occur at some time, but only in exceptional circumstances. Event may occur only in exceptional circumstances. Okay. You can even put the plane crash as rare lah. Okay, but in America right now it's possible already. Why? Yeah, but why there's so many plane crashes? Did you know why? No, nothing to do with maintenance. They go and cut all the air traffic staff. They go and cut that one, and they cut the people who take care of that one. Of course, and then now because they cut the workers there, one person do 3 people job, 4 people job, you think they can do it? Of course you're going to make a mistake, correct? That's an example of cutting the wrong places. You want to cut costs, can cut costs. Okay, are we okay in this part? Okay, so it will change based on the circumstances. Notice the word I'm going to look at. Now, if I talk about America, the cut stuff and all that, where does it affect? How does it increase the issue? Which issue is causing the problem here? There? Which one? Staff commitment, moral, attitude change. Once the staff commitment, the moment the staff not committed, you're in trouble already. Remember, your air traffic controller not committed, finish lah. Make sense? Okay. Now, are we okay on the different levels already? Yes, no? Okay. After that, okay, we come to risk treatment. Okay, risk treatment. After completing the 5-step risk assessment, management should have a good perspective of each option, potential risk and effect on the stated goal, and broader impact of the organization of overall. So they know which risk do what. Okay. The objective is to develop a cost-effective option for treating each risk. So you treat each risk. You can use TARA. Okay, the approach we use is going to be TARA. What is TARA? Basically, so after this, remember, after all of this, you come to the next step. It's called So you have risk response, okay. What's the risk response going to be? The risk response is going to be transfer, can Tara? Okay, that's basically transfer. Transfer basically means buy insurance. Buy insurance, transfer to somebody to take the impact consequences. Accept means okay, this one I accept this risk. It happen, lah, okay. Reduce means take action to reduce the impact or take action to reduce the likelihood. Avoid means don't do it. Are we okay in this part? That's basically the risk response, which you have here: transfer or share the risk, acting to reduce potential consequences or redesign the strategic initiative, accept the risk, take a chance, okay, and eliminate the risk, okay, avoid the risk. Are we okay in this part? Okay. Any control or mitigation strategy will reduce the likelihood of risk occurring or potential impact that may arise. So if you talk about reduction, reduction is where you have this word called where controls come in. Got it? So all of this are zone of control. Clear? You are taking a control. Can? The control part will reduce which one? They kind of reduce the consequences or likelihood. Clear? Okay. Now, existing control measures need to be monitored regularly. So you have to monitor carefully to see everything is correct. Now, risk assessment using business analytics. So you might be able to use your analytics to find out where the risk is occurring more. Like you do a data mining to find out what risk is more likely or less likely. Likelihood and consequences of a given risk event and likely outcome of a given risk treatment. So you can actually use your analytics or do what if analysis. IT systems can be used to assess risk by tracking specific event or analyzing various data set collected from environment. So you can track to see whether the risk is going up or going down. Got it? This is where you have like control chart. Like, Earth right now, we look at the risk. Okay, I give you this example of this risk. Risk from global warming. What's the risk right now? It's the latest news. NASA already says something. Okay, 2020. Okay, December they already came out with something. Have a look at this part. What did they say? Climate change impact risk adaptation. European Environmental Agency already like highlighting. Okay, what's the likely risk? What's the likely risk? Notice what they say it's happening now already. They no longer say it's going to happen. They used to say it's going to happen. You have to be careful. You have to be careful. Okay. So what is the thing? They said storm, heat wave, flood. These three are going to increase. Okay. Heat wave is getting stronger, so it's going to get hotter and hotter and hotter. That's what they're saying. Don't know how hot Malaysia is going to get. Okay, right? Economic losses from weather is going to be around trillions. Okay. Less than a third of the human loss is covered by insurance. That's it, transfer. Okay. Closing climate gap by increasing insurance cover can help increase society to recover. But there's one problem: insurance doesn't want to cover. They know the risk already, so they don't want to take the risk. Got it? Because they know the probability is higher. So probability is higher, they charge you a higher premium. Like for example, after a few floods in Malaysia, you try to buy flood insurance and see. For your car, they ask you more, no? Okay? So, building infrastructure that's resistant to hazard and using nature-based solutions. Okay, that might be one. So these are all the risks that they are doing. Europe is not prepared for changing climate risk. Don't worry, Malaysia is 100% not prepared. We are not prepared. Okay, so they do talk about policy changes and all that. Okay, and Europe regions will need to be prepared for different impact. These are the impacts. Sea level, sea surface temperature, then you got snowfall. Okay, Malaysia don't have snowfall, we don't need to worry about snowfall. Okay, notice what they say, decrease in central southern Europe. That means all those snow resort got problem already. Snow resort got problem. Storm intensity increasing. Change in rainfall can cause more drought, forest fire, and flooding. Clear? So these are things that's going to happen. Frequency is going to go up higher and higher. Clear? So this may be a lot of data analysis going on. Risk assessment can include probability and the word stress testing. Okay, what is stress testing? Done by banks a lot. They find out whether they can take a hit. Like for example, right now a lot of people want to know about climate risk and how climate risk affect your business. They are scared. So that's why now you see climate reporting is becoming bigger and bigger in the annual report. How much is the climate risk? What are the factors that affect your business? Got it? Based on risk assessment, treatment plans can be analyzed, enabling company to choose the preferred approach. The next one you have, quantifying risk and benefit. So remember, stress testing, you all know what it is, right? For example, what if there's a war? Okay, fine. How much all the variable change? How it impact the company's profit and loss? Okay, what if the palm oil industry got problem? Then you look at all your business. For a bank, they see like how much exposure of loan to palm oil. Then they see whether the palm oil people can pay or not, whether there's a risk or not. That's all they're looking at. That's called stress testing. An informed decision about whether a risk is worth the reward can only be made based on understanding scope, scale of risk and rewards. Number of approaches. So the analysis you might do is called a what if analysis. Change the outcome, see what happened, how much money you can save if this thing happened. Like for example, what if there's a flood? Did you buy insurance for your car? Then you're safe. You didn't buy insurance for your car, you thought like it's too costly. Notice that, too costly. I don't think my place got flood. A lot of people did think like that. I don't think my place will have flood. It's just that your place is changing. You are assessing your place in your house, correct? You never assess the possibility of the road in between can get flooded or not. So the moment you didn't assess the road or your office, you miss your assessment. Your assessment wrong already. Does that make sense? See how you're supposed to make the assessment is not only based on where you stay, which is how most people make assessment. I stay here, never get flood. I stay in a mountain, no high area, won't get flood. But where you work and what road you're using, you have to take into account. Because if you get flooded, it could be the road, and then your car is stranded there and has to go through the full repair. Does that make sense? Okay. So, cost benefit, you have to calculate the cost of doing something and the benefit. Other competencies to consider when evaluating strategic options include speed to market, the time lag before competitor enter. Got it? So other factors you have to consider into account. Okay, we're coming to integrating strategic options. So when you want to integrate the options, okay, these are things you have to consider. One, okay, you do still remember when you integrate, okay, developing strategy, what choices are made. You already have, remember, operational tactic, organization people tactic, strategic drivers, got it? Broad strategic team that takes into account the three things. Must take into account the three things that you're looking into. Then only you have the complete picture of a team. A team will have to have 1, 2, 3 all joined in. Are we okay? Addresses all of it. So, this one you already know. Operational tactic, what are the core activities we must do well? Your revenue, your cost and your growth. Here, how do we encourage, motivate people to do their work? Structure, skill, capabilities. And then what category we can group all the strategic actions. And here is industry, market, product, customer, channels. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So remember, 5, 3, 3. You need to remember that 5, 3, 3. 5 issues strategy, 3 issues in operation, 3 issues in people. Got it? So, when you want to evaluate an option, we use something called Rummel. Rummel criteria, very important criteria. Basically talks about when you are evaluating a strategy. Somebody says, okay, this is our strategy. Then you look at external consistency, internal consistency, feasibility, okay, then competitive advantage. Are we okay? 4 things. Now, if you were to think about Apple Vision Pro, where they fail? They fail maybe in external consistency. Market never demands so much for this product. Does that make sense? Market never demands so much for the product, so the product was not something people were looking for. Clear? If it's not something that people were looking for, then your strategy might fail. You're not consistent externally. Clear? That might be one thing. So same thing, like you know that dim sum from Star? Dim sum from Star, they never had anything they never had any internal strength. The only thing they had is money. They were pouring money. Everybody had money. Why didn't they all start OTT? Understand the question now? If money was your reason why you're going to be successful, it's not going to be successful because the strategy you used was just set up the platform, buy things from outside and sell. So it's just a kedai runcit lah. Kedai runcit for OTT lah. Understand the logic, right? I set up a platform, I buy from outside, I sell to you. Kedai runcit, nothing more. And if you are the kedai runcit, they are kedai runcit that has very specialized kedai runcit like Netflix. They create their own content. They spend money to create their own content and have exclusive content, which you cannot find. You're buying from everybody. Does that make sense? Okay. So internal consistency, external consistency. That means internal means strengths, weakness. External means opportunity, threat. Feasibility means whether you have financial feasible or not, whether you can do it or not. Feasibility means is your resources. Then competitive advantage is there any advantage in doing this or not? What's your advantage over others? So each of this have a set of questions. Ramal is kind of important. Remember, Ramal is kind of important. So they have these ideas. This is a checklist you don't memorize, but you use it in the exam if it comes up in the text.
How to differentiate feasibility and
Looks the same. Okay, I'll explain the two things first. Okay, let's look at external consistency first. External is basically you're looking at industry life cycle. Does it fit? Where are you in the industry life cycle? Is it in the growth stage, in the mature stage? Okay. How does a business strategic option fit with the trend in the market? Your steeple. Is it consistent with steeple? No. You know, the market trends in politics, market trend in economics and so forth. How does the business option support emerging trends? So is there any trend that's emerging and do you support that one? Are you capturing the emerging trend? Okay. Next, you got like a lot of universities and colleges have now started to sell AI, you know, bachelor's computer science AI, they are selling digital marketing and all that. So those are all what we can say current emerging trends lah, correct? Okay. How does option fit with trend of external environment? Okay, then you got an industry. So this is your Porter 5 forces. How does the option fit with the competitive environment, your competitor, how you fit against them? If the business option means entering the industry that an organization not already in, what impact will it have on competition and market share? So you enter into a new market, better get ready for competition, market share issues, because other people will not let you enter simply. Does it fit with the key success factor? Does it fit with the development in global market? And does it fit with the change in industry value chain? So these are the factors you are looking at. At the end of the day, if you were to summarize the key factors, number one was industry life cycle. Okay, that's one. The next one they had is, they also had steeple, got it? Next, they asked you to consider consistency with Porter 5 force, got it? Then they ask you to compare consistency with the competitor analysis. Those are things that you were looking into as the main idea to compare against. Got it? Do you fit with all of this? All right, okay. Next one, next one we're going to go into is going to be about, is the strategy internally consistent? Okay, what are the functional strategies that follow from business strategy, design goal, internally consistent with each other? So when you say functional strategy, what we are talking about is the functions itself. Okay, let's look at the first one. How does the business strategy fit with your organization strategy? So the first part is the current strategy. Is there a fit or not? Does it lock with your what you are doing right now? If you are going for market leadership in cost, say quality, and then you suddenly jump to cost, you got a problem already, correct? You're trying to be cheap and all that, okay? Next, how does the business strategy option contribute to achieving the strategy, your current strategy, okay? How does the option meet stakeholder requirements? Okay, so here's another keyword that comes up. You got the word called stakeholder assessment, okay? Then you have to consider what impact will it have on the revenue and costs. So is it going to, remember, is it going to up revenue or down costs? Okay, so that's another fit that you're looking at. Then you have to look at, see the current product. Why? Because you launch a product, it might kill your current product. You launch a product, for example, recently Apple went and launched the M4 Mac Mini. The M4 Mac Mini you can buy, you can buy student rate is 2,000 ringgit. 2,000 ringgit, and they have their super high premium Apple Studio, which sells for 16,000 ringgit. And when people compare the two, they say it's not much difference. That means the $2,000 product beats a $16,000 product, or very close to a $16,000 product. Then people will switch, they kill your big product already. Does that make sense? Okay. Then you also have, what impact will the business strategy option have on the reputation and brand? So here you can see the brand impact. Is your brand going to be negatively impacted, positively impacted? Elon Musk is destroying Tesla's brand right now by doing whatever he's doing, okay? And then, okay, next part, you got, how will business strategic option change the, okay, this is the value chain. Pay attention to the difference of the value chain. There is the industry value chain and then the company value chain, got it? So is there a change in the value chain? Okay, the next one you have is going to be, what are the risks associated with this option? And then finally, you're looking at, do they have the capabilities to do this or not? Okay, this is where it's a bit of the question mark because it links to the next word called feasibility. Okay? So we go to the next set. The next set is basically feasibility. So when you say feasibility, are cost benefit projections for business strategic team robust? Okay, what are the key assumptions and dependents that they have? Okay, this is where you are now looking at different variables. Feasible is now cost and benefit. Notice you're looking at the cost and benefit of the whole project, the whole strategy itself. What capabilities are required? So this is where I told you it's overlapping a bit. Capabilities. See, the word is similar, correct? So don't worry about it in the exam. Doesn't matter you park in feasibility or internal consistency, they won't mark you wrong because the word appeared in both places. Can the capabilities does not have easily sourced elsewhere to implement? So see, they're asking where you can get it. Then the next word you're looking at is got skills or not. Skills enough or not to do this thing. So do you have the skills? Okay, has organization done something similar to a particular strategic team in the past, and was it successful? So have you done something like this in the past? If the organization wasn't successful at implementing something similar in the past, what evidence they will be successful now? So if you tried this before, it didn't work, what makes you think it'll work now? That's all they're asking. If you tried this before, it didn't work, How now? Any changes or not? So the next one you're looking at is got enough capital or not? Money. Got money for the whole project or not? Okay. What about government? Will the government support you or against you? Okay. Does organization have capacity to service additional demand? So you check your capacity also. So again, all this checking whether you have the right resources to get things done or not. Then you also have what are the risks inherent with this and how will it be minimized? So the word risk you can see overlapping. So these two words are overlapping words a bit. Are you okay in this part? Then you have this, what will the impact be in worst case scenario? So what are the worst case scenario outcomes? And then are there some key decisions to be considered implementing team that meet investment or other risks can be minimized? And who owns the IP? Can you see all those like questions asking you whether can do or cannot do, correct? At the end of the day, it's about your internal resources and capability to support the strategy. That's called feasibility, okay? Internal consistency is where you are strong, where you are weak. You don't do what you're weak, you do what you're strong. It's not about capability. Capability is do you have the resources, skill, money. The other is like, hey, you are strong in flour, manipulating flour, so that's why you can go to me market. Got it? Okay, okay. Now, the next one you have is going to be this word called competitive advantage. So when we talk about competitive advantage, what will business strategic option deliver in terms of benefit? So what's your product benefit? Is there a benefit for you? Then, what is about the business strategic option that will be valued by customer? So, is it valued? Then you talk about what about the option that is difficult to copy? Copy. A good example is the chicken. You know, you heard of this pineapple chicken? You heard of Aquino or something? You go to the shops. You buy chicken, there's this packet chicken called pineapple chicken. Think about it, what's their logic? They are growing the chicken in the pineapple farm. They must be growing the chicken in the pineapple farm. Does that make sense? Whereby the pineapple, why pineapple farm? Okay, now let's look at it. Why pineapple farm? Because these people might be cutting the pineapple and putting it into tin. They are either, they have a pineapple farm, they are exporting pineapples, okay, and they also maybe having a process to cut the pineapple and put into tin. So when they are cutting the pineapples, they have a lot of waste, which they can grind and give as food for the chicken. And when they give food for the chicken might have a pineapple flavor. Does that, you know, their logic is this, like this pineapple chicken. It's like, whatever it eat, it doesn't, I mean the system of biology process, if you study biology enough, it doesn't go that way lah. Whatever it eat, it doesn't get resak. You know, you eat a lot of jagung, then you don't smell like jagung, right? So that's the idea that they are trying to come up with a competitive advantage. Is it valued or is there a real benefit or not? Are we okay? Right, let's move on. Then you got, what about the option that will make the thing superior to offering? So this is about whether it's superior to others. So what is rare, unusual? It has to be something rare or unusual, okay? Then you have to see, why is it appropriate? Appropriate for this company to do it, not others. Does the organization have a competitive advantage in operation system process? that would enable it to succeed in this particular option where competitors fail. So, for example, for a pineapple chicken shop, chicken, they're going to sell the chicken. They have to have a pineapple farm. Other pineapple farms can easily do what you did. It's not very hard. They just have to acquire the chicken farm facility, got it? And then provide the place. Okay. How competitors are likely to react. But if you go to the chicken market, you know the Malaysian chicken market, you have that pineapple chicken from what I know. There's also one more Mozart chicken. Ever heard of the Mozart chicken? That even more funny.
They play musik-musik.
Yes. Kisong online, okay, there. See? Organic chicken listen to Mozart. So maybe the chicken a bit more smarter, so when you eat, you also become smart.
But I think this one, in Japan they do this one for cow, for what you.
Serious ah?
Yeah, they count the cow.
I must check and see. Mozart
Some music license, some kind of music
cows for music for cows ah.
in Japan.
Okay, I try and see music for cows, Japan. Yalah, classical music for cows, maybe lah.
Like they want for what you.
Oh, Wagyu beef. Why is it the best? Okay, now I have to check the Wagyu beef. Okay, we see why is it special. Not really. I don't know. I don't think it's because of them listening to music and what's so great about Wagyu beef. Have you tried Wagyu beef? You have. What difference?
Like mix of fat and the meat lah.
So tastier.
But cannot eat much lah.
Tastier
Yeah, tasty.
than the normal beef.
Yeah.
Or is it because of the cooking?
I think because of the cooking.
Because Wagyu beef won't be cooked by normal people.
Yeah.
It's upper class restaurant, not the middle class restaurant. Middle class restaurant you cannot find Wagyu beef and all that. This is very expensive beef. I think one will cost you about 80 ringgit, 90 ringgit, right? Easily. You have to taste it one time at least. Okay, so that might be, so Wagyu beef is an example of, I repeat that, Wagyu beef is an example of somebody who's able to differentiate themselves, got it? Okay, so the other factors here, remember the other factor that you have here, what is stopping others from implementing? This is very important, okay? Why others are not doing it? Very important question. Why others are not doing it? Because if others are not doing it, there's a good reason, then you doing it is very dangerous. Does that make sense? A good example of that is this one lah. You know the dim sum? Why Astro, who had all the resources, didn't do it, but Star, who didn't have anything, did it. They never asked why Astro never do, why Telecom never do. Even Telecom had more lah. RTM had more, Media Prima. Media Prima had more content because they actually do content. So Media Prima going to OTT would have made more sense than Star going to OTT. So they never asked that basic question, why others are not doing it? Because it's not easy market to enter. You need a lot of expertise and system, and you need to store a lot of data, and you have to spend a lot of money on the data. Okay, because you need to keep the cloud to support your downloads and all that. Okay, now are there any reputation risks? Now the word reputation you can see is repeating again, correct? So I would say that sometimes some of the words are repeating, hence making them a bit confusing model. It becomes like a confusing model because of the fact that the word repetition is repeating a few times here and there. Got it? So you might say like, hey, we have to look at our reputation here also. We have to look at our reputation here. That the word reputation is also here. There. Okay, brand impact. So here also got, you can say brand impact. Follow? Okay. Then does the organization have freedom with intellectual property required for the business issue? So do they have IP freedom or not? So these are the factors you have to consider. And most likely in exam, you might get this as extended response, ER. Extended response question asking you about what is right and wrong. Follow? Okay. That covers this part.